Running the Streets with Felice León, connecting aspiring talent with creative professionals. DJ, producer, tastemaker, entrepreneur, and steward of hip-hop culture. Rich Medina humbly rejects the use of the word legend affixed to his name, but is indeed worthy of the accolade. When Rico Grande come to town, he shut the party down. Les run these streets. Hello and welcome to another episode of Running the Streets with Felice León. Today, we're in the studio with DJ, producer, and poet, Rich Medina. Thanks for joining us, Rich.
Thanks for coming. I was going to say thanks for having me, but you're actually in my place.
Yeah, we are. This is a great place indeed.
Thank you.
So, Rich, I understand that you have a sister who is 18 years your senior. Is that correct? And
it's very true.
Yes, and she has...
My second mom.
Your second mom. Okay.
Mommy Junior.
I bet. I bet she didn't play the games, huh?
No games
No
whatsoever.
and so also I understand that she's impacted your taste in music. But why specifically DJing? You know, this influence could have manifested itself in many ways in your life, but you chose this route. Why?
My sister Benita was a very hip young lady in her day. So growing up in the middle of New Jersey, I grew up in Lakewood, New Jersey. So my sister was 20, 21, 22 years old. She's going to Asbury Park Convention Center to see Fleetwood Mac, Shaka Khan, all these different artists, and I'm her baby brother. So I'm completely informed by her style. If my mom wasn't around, my sister was looking after me. I grew up around music. I grew up surrounded by music as celebration, whether secular or in the church.
You refer to yourself as a vinyl archaeologist. So what exactly does this mean, and how does one qualify themselves as being a vinyl archaeologist?
I used to write a column for Fader magazine called Vinyl Archaeology. The Webster's or Wikipedia definition of archaeology, it has to do with the study of human history and human behavior that predates said archaeologists' lifetimes. And then the literal aspect of digging into the ground to find things that were there prior. So you're acquiring material for study to be translated to an audience of some sort. Mm-hmm. It all has to do with sharing of information and sharing of cultural data with people. Okay. And I take that aspect of it very seriously.
We see. This is evident. So what is your connection to Fela, the musical Afrobeat?
For me, my connection with Fela Kuti's music is completely personal. Completely personal. I fell in love with it when I first came across it, and I've been chasing the catalog and any other artist that speaks to that style as well. It's definitely a good feeling to feel like I was one of the people who were an early adapter. I think I take a particular level of responsibility as a disc jockey, but there's also a bunch of extremely credible bands who had been carrying on that tradition as well, including New York's own Antibalas and the Doctaris, which is an offshoot of that band. And we could go on and on with the names of the bands that were proponents of the sound. So it was not only about playing Fela's music, but also about playing the newer bands that are carrying on that tradition. And lucky me, I've been doing that since the very early 90s. So I take a particular level of pride in beating a lot of DJs to the punch with regard to championing that sound.
You are an educator and advisor at your alma mater, Cornell University's Hip Hop Collection. So tell us about that.
The Cornell Hip Hop Collection is housed within the Cornell Rare Books and Manuscripts Archive. So there's the largest collection of rare and at-risk materials on hip-hop in the country. So our job is to help get the history of the culture taught for what it is, which is Americana. It's not a subculture. It is as American as baseball and apple pie.
Do you think that hip-hop is negatively impacting Black America?
Absolutely not. You can't blame all the wrongs of the hood or the wrongs of young Black men on rap music.
Of course. People
look back on the early days of hip-hop who weren't there and think that people were just like, hey, I don't want to fight you today. I want to dance against you. Like, nah. These dudes were still, there was stick-up kids and all types of wildness going on. And over time, these kids going to practice dancing or practice writing or practice DJing or MCing became some of the very things that kept them off the street, which then made it the positive thing that it's become. It's really ill that the history is so misunderstood.
Well, Rich, as of late, some have referred to you as the brand daddy, and you've made connections with salient brands such as TEDx Philly, Smirnoff's Master of the Mix, EA Sports, and New Balance. Where do you get your business sense?
My business sense comes from going to a school with a credible business program and having to learn business protocol from the back end forward, meaning, taking proper managerial accounting courses and business management courses and public speaking courses and all the different components that go into running a franchise, no matter what size or capacity the franchise is. Upon leaving corporate America, I opened my own shop. My partner and my best friend, Bobito Garcia, had a store in New York called Footwork. And he was saying to me, you don't need these people. You should open your own place. We opened Footwork Philadelphia, which was a sister store to his New York shop. Bob and I came to the point where we were like, look, we could be retail guy and really kill it. Or we could focus on our careers, on our individual careers. And with that, we decided to close the shops. Now I'm carrying all of that experience forward into trying to build my own business and my own brand. So anytime you can get next to somebody bigger than you who can pull you along or fast track you into situations of being seen that it would take you another year on your own, it behooves any of us to attack that.
At Running the Streets, our goal is to connect aspiring talent with creative professionals like yourself. With that said, do you have 5 tips or guidelines that you can suggest for those trying to attain some measure of success?
Yeah, well, one is to do your research, figure out if there are any models of success that already exist that can inform your sensibilities. Be quiet and work at it before you go pronouncing it to everyone. I think field research is super important, meaning you got to go out and experience the things. You have to go out and take a look at these models of success that are in the field that you want to get into and get your head around what goes on in those environments and what works and what doesn't, what's fundamental protocol and what's specific to any particular artist. Practice your ass off. I was talking to someone the other day, and it was really interesting. He's a mentor of mine. He was saying how, when people watch athletes like Michael Jordan, and before I say anything else, I'm not even remotely comparing myself, but as much as it's a good analogy. All you see is what he does in the season, but they don't see all the weightlifting, all the drilling, the thousands of jump shots and thousands of layups a day that are taken in the off season when nobody's looking. So that come season time, it's fun. When you have that type of God-given talent combined with that type of work ethic, that's the stuff of legend, and it's a great model to look at. Hard work is hard work is hard work. And at the end of the day, those are the things that are going to put you out in front of where you want to be.
Thank you so much for inviting us into your studio, Rich Medina, granddaddy, poet, DJ, producer. We very much appreciate it, and this is a great space. You have lots of great art, and really enjoy the energy down here. So thanks for having us. For more on Rich Medina,
you can go to www.richmedina.com. If you're on an iOS 6 device, you can download the Rich Medina app in the App Store. It is free $99.
Free is good for me.
Free is good for me. You can follow me on Twitter at Rich Medina, Instagram at Rich Medina. Always online, running my mouth. And stay tuned.
For more on Running the Streets, you can follow us on Twitter at RTSWFL, or you can find us on Facebook as well, Running the Streets with Felice León. Now remember, we run these streets.
Son.
Thank you.